Hello students, welcome to the video lecture series. Today I am going to discuss about various surveys and inventory of existing condition. Here the surveys includes pedestrian surveys, bus transport surveys, intermediate public transport surveys which includes auto rickshaw and taxis, then goods surveys, and at last the theory of inventory of existing conditions. So let us start with the first pedestrian survey. This survey is conducted at the important location where there is heavy flow of pedestrian for 12 hours on a working day and also on holidays. Here the width of sidewalks available and any encroachment on them are noted. The volume of pedestrian walking along the roads and across the roads is counted every half hour during the peak hours. So this is what the pedestrian survey. Next is bus transport service. This survey includes two components, that is bus transport operational characteristic survey and the bus transport user survey. Here the main objective of this public transport user survey are of to study the operation and performance characteristics of public transport facilities. Then to study the supply and demand characteristics of public transport facilities. Then to study the user characteristics of public transport facilities. And at last to suggest the measure in order to improve the public transport system. Here this objective covers almost all aspects of public transport system. That means from operation to their performance, their supply and demand of bus system, and those who are using bus, that fellows and their characteristics also been studied. And the last step is how we can improve the existing facilities that also been studied. Now these surveys are conducted using two methods, that is of on-board passenger survey and the bus stop survey. If I am talking about the on-board passenger survey, here the sample routes on-board recording the number of passengers who are boarding and alighting at the bus stop. That means here the survey has been captured the passenger who are entering to the bus and then later at next bus stop or wherever the destination is, at that bus stop the passenger is going to leave the bus or coming out of the bus. This has been studied. Here the total stops should be covered during this survey. The speed of the bus should be observed by dividing the total number of distance of the bus route particularly and by the total time that has been taken including the boarding and alighting time at the bus stop. Means it covers entire journey time. Here the bus timings includes the boarding time and alighting time and the entire route and the stops which are coming in that particular route is also being studied. Here the average space between the bus stop should also be found out. Then next is the bus stop survey. Here the bus stop OD survey is carried out at all the bus stops to study area with adequate sample size. Here the details are collected for the access, dispersal and line haul that done by the buses or the passengers. Now intermediate public transport survey. Here there are two components of IPT. First is the IPT operator survey and second is IPT user survey. The aim of this survey is to access the operational characteristic of IPT, means the auto rickshaw or the taxi or tempos which are been working to feed the people from access from urban area to rural area or on the particular road stretch. Then identify the problems and the issues as well to suggest the appropriate policies and strategies for the rational development of transportation system. Here, the IPT users may be interviewed to access the trip pattern, for example, origin and the destination, along with the trip purposes and the travel cost. The main objectives are of to study the operational and performance characteristics of the intermediate public transportation facilities, then to study the supply and demand characteristics of intermediate transport facilities, then to study the user characteristics. These were the similar of those bus transport surveys, then to suggest the measure in order to improve the IPT system. Here, the survey is conducted at various IPT stands located within the study area, and it provides information related to the trip characteristics in terms of origin and destination. Here, various data has been recorded. For example, as I said, the origin and destination of trip, then purpose of trip, then the frequency and the cost of the trip as well. Here, a separate survey is needed to study the IPT operational characteristics in terms of route or operations, then vehicle utilization, passenger that they're carrying, and operation cost and the revenue. So this is all about the intermediate public transport survey. Next is goods survey. The main objective of the goods surveys are to study the physical characteristics of goods, the terminals, and demand characteristics of terminal in terms of area activity and the space requirement. To access the transport operator characteristics, and at last to study the movement of goods traffic with the different types and magnitude of the commodities that they carry. Here, the survey is conducted at the terminals in the study area to access the requirement of goods terminal. Now, for assessing the characteristics of these transport operators and flow of goods with respect to the types and the magnitude, here a special survey may be conducted where the truck operators are located. The data collection from these sources is required to be checked with the goods flow at their other cordon points as well. So here the end of the goods survey. Now next is the inventory of existing condition, means the data collection. The inventory of the existing transport facilities, or you can say the condition, should be undertaken to identify the deficiency in the present system and the extent to which they need to be improved. Here there are 5 types of basic data which are required for the urban transportation planning. First is the road inventory data, then traffic data, third is economic data, then financial planning data, and the engineering data. So I'll briefly discuss about these. In road inventory data, this includes the collection of data of existing road, such as the clear demarcation of various states in the country, then man-made and the natural features adjacent to the roads, such as building fencings and other land uses. Then the designation of road and its classification, for example, arterial, subarterial, collector, any kind of roads. Then road width, their pavement width, surface type, and the conditions. Here, if there is a sidewalks or any curb is there adjacent to the road, then road alignment, their gradient, any sign or safety devices has been fixed to the road, then bridges, their length, span of bridge, then river, lakes, reservoir which has been crossing along those roads, then railway crossing, their location, number of tracks in the railway crossing, then type of road, whether it can be a municipality or a toll road, and at last traffic volume. So these are the road inventory which has been required for the urban transportation planning. Second is traffic data. Here, these studies are carried out to obtain the information regarding the type and the volume of the traffic which are present in today, or you can say present condition, to project the future demands. Here, few information has been collected which includes the traffic sensors, counting numbers of vehicles and the volumes. This has been studied yearly, monthly, weekly or the hourly basis. The type of traffic which includes the cars or the buses, truck, bullock cart or horse-drawn car, it can be anything. Then nature of traffic, it can be a heavy or light vehicle as well. Then the purpose of trip, whether it can be business, offices, recreational or the educational one. Then if I'm talking about the origin and destination of trip, that is also been counted in the traffic data. Then the speed of traffic, condition of the vehicle, accident records, then parking practices and their demands, then bus passenger services, and at last taxi users and their fare prices. This type of data has been studied in the traffic data. Third is economic data. Economic data determines the economic status and the development of the area. Here few information has been collected in the economic data which includes the population of the survey area and the various zones of that particular area. Then the towns and the villages which are classified on the population basis. This also been studied in the previous units. Then the age, sex and the composition of the family, this also been studied, which is also categorized as a socio-economic data. Then the employment statistics, per capita income of the people, vehicle ownership, housing statistics, then classification of area, whether it can be agriculture or non-agriculture area or semi-agriculture area. Then the location of existing industries and the source of material is also being studied. Next is the financial planning data. These data concerns itself with the financial aspect such as allotment of funds, then compilation of statistics for the income from different roads, study of the source of revenue as well. These data are classified in three categories, that is basic statistics, motor vehicle use statistics, and third one is the road life statistics. So first is basic statistics, that is of rate on import of motor vehicles and their various parts and the revenue from the customers. And next is the revenue from the motor taxes, then registration fees and sell tax on motor vehicle. Second is the motor vehicle use statistics, that includes how the owner of the vehicle distribute among the rural and the urban areas. Then to find the age of various automobiles, then weight of commercial vehicles, then estimation of annual travel, the trip, the length, then purpose of trip, road that they have used, then transportation modes used by the different types of employees as well. And third is the road life statistics. Here the life of various roads has been studied, their circumstances and the construction and the maintenance cost, the condition of payments that I have already told you, then history of road repairs. And the last one is engineering data. These includes the topography of the area under the study, the type of soil that are available, then available material. Next is engineering data. These includes the topography of the area under the study, type of soil, available material of the construction, then methods of construction, then drainage problems at the site, availability of labor, and at last road life study has been captured. So here I am ending this session. I hope you have learned the various types of surveys to collect the data and inventory of existing data as well. So thanks for watching this video.